Thanks for joining us for this week's edition of Local Focus. I have a very special guest this week. Usually when I have a guest, I text or call a principal and a head coach, and they'll text me a few things. But when I was talking to my friend San Juan Mendoza last night, he said, no problem, we already have a press release prepared. Our guest has a press release, and that's Haley Rizek. Thank you so much for coming in today. Obviously, this is pretty impressive, your career at St. Pius. Talk a little bit about it, and we'll delve into it more.
It's been an experience, and it's definitely been a ride the last 4 years. There's been a lot of ups and downs, but thankfully it's mainly been an uphill success.
So I'm just going to read some of these things because they're pretty crazy. So 6-time track and field Metro champion, 2-time Metro high point athlete, 5-time NMAA state champion, and a 13-time district champion. The 2017 All-State high point athlete and 2-time Great Southwest Girls decathlon champion. The 2017 Gatorade track and field athlete of the year. 2 St. Pius school records, the 100-meter and 300-meter hurdles. Also competed in volleyball, which, yeah, we won some state titles there, didn't we? And the 2017 Metro Volleyball Student Athlete of the Year. That's a lot.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that Coach Mendoza shared with me is some of Haley's biggest impacts on the campus were totally non-athletic related. So talk about some of your stuff totally outside of athletics that you did there at St. Pius.
Outside of athletics, I helped a lot with our campus ministry team and just volunteered in general outside of school and inside of the school because it's part of our curriculum that we have to do. So it was really cool to be able to touch people in a way that had nothing to do with athletics and just kind of affect them in a different way.
When we were road tripping up to Las Cruces, San Juan didn't know that you were related to our director, Jason, so we were talking about that. Jason brought that up, talking about it in the car, and one of the things San Juan said was it was like having an adult enrolled on a high school campus, the stuff you did at St. Pius. So where did that urge come from? That kind of, it's almost like a call to public service. Where did that come from?
I think it just came from my childhood and growing up always trying to help people and kind of knowing what it's like to not be treated well and be bullied, and so kind of using that to help other people and to always be nice to other people and try to inspire them to do the same.
And that was a big thing at St. Pius, right, on the campus, the anti-bullying campaign. I know Coach Mendoza talked about that a lot.
Yeah.
So what did you guys do there?
It was a really big deal, probably my sophomore and junior year. So just the fact that we had everybody rallying to try to be kinder to everyone and kind of be more Christ-like on campus, it really affected everyone in a positive way, and especially me because I wanted to kind of make that more effective in all aspects in athletics by being a good sport and in the classroom and outside of school.
Talk about your parents' role in not only your development as an athlete, but just as a good citizen there at St. Pius.
My parents have been wonderful. My mom has always been an inspiration, kind of more in the arts field since she's an art teacher, so she's always inspired me to just be who I want to be without worrying about what other people thought of me. And my dad has definitely had a huge impact on the type of athlete I am and the person I am today, because he just made a lot of sacrifices to help me train. He's basically my strength and conditioning coach the past 4 years. And he'd always be willing to go work out with me, and he would invest a lot of his time and energy and money to getting these good weightlifting programs that we could do together. And so it's just really awesome to have someone that is so kind like him to look up to and have a role model.
When did that love of sports start? When did the bug bite you?
Probably sports in general. Since I was little, I have 2 older brothers that played a lot of sports. And me being the youngest, I always wanted to kind of be just like them. So I played t-ball for a while. Then I got into gymnastics and cheerleading, which were a little bit more girly, but they're definitely intense sports. And then going into high school, because of my brother's successes in high school, it really drove me to want to be better than them almost, just because I have that competitive nature.
And when did that happen? When did you start beating them at races? When did you start rubbing their face in it?
I don't know if I've ever beaten them in a race. I know after the state finals this year, my brother wanted to have a race down our street outside of our house, but we never got to it. So
Jason could film that if that's still on the table.
We might have to get him out there.
Do you think who's winning that race?
Oh, I don't know. It'd be a close one.
Yeah, I think that's something we could definitely take a look at in film. So, how challenging was it at St. Pius to participate in so many sports? And obviously the academic rigors at Pius probably a little harder than a public school. Talk about how you balance that.
I think a lot of the balance, it wasn't so difficult for me only because I have this, kind of my pet peeve is when things aren't efficient or when you aren't being productive. So it's really hard for me to just sit still and kind of not do anything. So if you just fill all those voids with things to do, then it's pretty fun.
You're going to look back at a career at Pius that was just stellar. What do you think your most important impact on that campus? You think that'll last well after you're gone?
I think the biggest impact that I made at St. Pius probably wasn't so much in the athletics department. And even though that definitely will affect people and try to strive them to do better and get hopefully get the hurdle records someday. But I think it more has to do with how you treat people nice all the time. And no matter if you have a lot of success or if you don't have a lot of success, that you're always kind to those and you're always humble and you're always a good sport.
So those personal bests at hurdles, that's a 14.66 in the 100 meters and a 44.5 in the 300, right? Is that what people are shooting for?
Well, yeah, in the 100 I actually got a 14.39 at the finals. But those are definitely awesome times for the hurdles. I never thought that I'd get a time like that if you would ask me when I was a freshman or even sophomore, probably even junior. I don't think that I would think that I'd get a time like that. So it was super exciting.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back with Haley, we're going to delve into all those state titles, talk about some memories that stand out during those state title runs.
High school sports are back. The 2018-19 season kicks off, and you could watch every Proview Network broadcast live on the NFHS network. Every moment, from every game, from every sport, including all NMAA state championships. Get your highly discounted monthly pass now. Go to ProviewNetworks.com and sign up. Watch New Mexico's best.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of Proview Sports Network. Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network. Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rawlings, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
All right, let's talk track titles first. When did you win your first? Some experiences that really stand out, maybe your early years at Pius?
My first track title was the 100-meter hurdles when I was a sophomore. And that feeling, it's a feeling that I'll never forget, just being the first time that I had won a state title. I remember running down the 100 meters, and I was probably 3/4 of the way done, and I realized I was in first place, and my heart almost like sank because I was like, oh my goodness, I could be a state champion. And I kind of had to refocus, and it it was just an unbelievable feeling, and definitely one that I will never forget. It was super special because the previous year I'd gotten 6th place as a freshman, so it almost felt unreal that I had kind of jumped all those places to win.
Now you go forward to your junior and senior track years. Are there more expectations at this point? I don't want to say is it any less special, but is it less surprising when you win, or take us through that?
Yeah, my junior year, I was pretty much going into every race having the fastest time, but I didn't feel as much pressure as I did this year, probably because I wasn't a senior yet, so I just didn't have that much pressure to win, and everyone didn't really expect me to win. This year, I definitely felt the pressure because if I was going to a race, people were watching me saying, oh, like, let's go watch Haley run the hurdles. So I definitely wanted to do my best and make sure that I was on my A game for every race.
So when did that, because I do know around state track time, usually I'm assigned somewhere else, so I'm either doing baseball or something else, but I did notice by your junior and senior year, the buzz always in the press room, whether we were at a baseball game or somewhere else, whenever we talked about track and we weren't there, the questions were always, well, okay, how did Jordan do and how did Haley do, right? So when did that kind of start, where the expectations were elevated and people were always kind of curious to watch you perform?
I think that probably came after I was awarded with the Gatorade Girls Track and Field Athlete of the Year, mainly because that's such a prestigious award, and so usually when a junior or someone that's not a senior wins that award, it sticks out to you, and you probably want to see what they're doing and why they got such a prestigious award at a young age. So definitely my senior year, I think that's why there's a lot more attention.
Tell us about that award. When did you find out about that? Who made that phone call to you? I mean, that's obviously pretty special. Take us through that day.
I remember it was in the summertime, and I knew my coach had nominated me for it and said I had a pretty good chance. So I went on the website and I saw what date it was going to be released. And that morning, I want to say it was like June 20th maybe, I woke up to go to morning workouts, and probably at like 6:30, and I just checked my phone really quick to see, as I was walking into the gym, to see if it had been posted, and it had, and it felt unreal. It was kind of like the same feeling as winning that first state championship, because it did not feel real at all. And I ran into our athletic trainer, Miss Juanita, and she's been one of the people that have supported me throughout my whole life, and it was really cool to be able to share that moment with her.
And then when did you, when was that announced on campus and everything? Take us through that.
Well, since it was the summer, it kind of got around via internet and social media, but they had a nice little award ceremony kind of towards the beginning of the year, and they presented the trophy and the banner in front of the school.
And now every time we do a Seoul soccer matchup on Proview, we sit literally under that banner. When Jason's directing a soccer broadcast, we sit under that banner.
That's cool.
At St. Pius. Now let's talk about some volleyball state titles, because you were very successful on the volleyball court as well. Take us through your first one, and then expectations there in volleyball. How fun was that?
My junior season was probably one of my favorite volleyball seasons that I've ever played in my life. Our team was just on fire every game. We were so energetic, and we didn't have a weak link on our team that year, so it was awesome to be able to just dominate every game. It was a great feeling, and especially because most of those girls were some of my best friends. So winning the state championship, we kind of knew that we would be a contester for that since the beginning of the season, but winning it was so much fun, and it was definitely something I won't forget.
You have a coach, and Coach Fairchild, that obviously is a next level volleyball player, and she was into it on the sideline. Obviously, what did she bring to the table? That's obviously has to be an advantage you guys had over some other teams, is having someone like Coach Fairchild there.
Yeah, she's been one of my favorite coaches that I've ever had throughout all sports that I've tried. Just because she was so good at volleyball, it was amazing to have someone to look up to like that. She was also just a caring and kind woman, but she was also strict, so you didn't want to cross the line, and you always wanted to go hard in workouts for her because she was so passionate about the game, that you wanted to kind of follow in that direction.
Obviously, that's someone in practice that if you're not doing it right, she can be like, no, the slide goes like this, and she can hammer it right down your throat, right?
Yeah, no, she would play with us. She would scrimmage with us. And I remember one time I got my arms up to block, and I didn't block her, but the ball hit my arms, and it was one of the most painful things I've ever experienced.
She could say, Coach, take it easy on us? Or did she take it easy on you, or was she going all out when she played with you guys?
She would go all out, and it was scary.
So is there any stories in practice of Jeannie breaking any broken noses or anything crazy like that?
Oh, no, thankfully no one got hit by that, but yeah, you jump up to block and you could hear the ball, like the air behind the ball, and it was terrifying, but
and then a coaching change, but obviously not much change because it seemed like you guys were still rolling into that next year and then another title. Talk about that.
Yeah, Coach Jordan had been our assistant coach for the past 3 years, so it wasn't much of a change, and she's an amazing coach too. She was a standout athlete at Moriarty and at UNM, so it was still great to have a coach that was passionate about the game and still having very good players on our team. It was a really good season, and even though we fell short of the state championship title, we still got runner-up, and it was still a great year.
Let's go back to the track, talk about that hurdles a little more. What was going through your mind at the end there when you clipped the top?
I didn't really know what was happening until I had fallen, and I was just trying to get to that line. I was doing whatever I could, and I reached my arms past the finish line, and then I remembered that I was like, oh, dang it, it has to be your chest that crosses the finish line. So I made that one final push, and that's kind of when it settled in that I'd messed up. But it was just another race for me, and getting the record the day before made it not sting so bad, and all the support from all the other racers was just amazing. And
that was going to be my follow-up. Yeah, the way the crowd reacted to that and the other athletes kind of rallied around you, that had to be pretty special. Talk about that, when you kind of looked up and you saw the crowd and everything. Take us through that.
Yeah, it was amazing to have some of the girls come up and hug me right away and make sure I was okay, because it just shows that it's more than a race. It's about learning how to be cooperative and supportive of other people. And definitely when I was up on the podium and they announced my name in 4th place and the crowd cheered probably louder for me than any of the first place awards I'd ever gotten. It was so meaningful because it showed that no matter what, people are still going to be supportive of you when you do your best.
Memory-wise, obviously that's not a state title winning performance. That's going to be one that has to stick out just because of the way, just the moment of the day, right? And the support says a lot about humanity, doesn't it?
Yeah. It was definitely one of my most favorite races, and even as we were doing our graduation ceremony and everyone was wearing their state medals, I actually wore that medal because I think that race meant more to me than all the other ones, only because it showed how to kind of persevere and how to always be a good teammate to everyone regardless of where they're from.
We'll take one more break. When we come back, Haley's going to narrow down this resume to a top 5 list. Tonight's top 5 list will be her most memorable moments at St. Pius, and then we'll go future Ivy League athletics. We'll go all through that. The Penn Relays, much more to come.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
Sadie's is a proud supporter of New Mexico high school sports and athletics, and we here at Proview Networks would like to thank Sadie's for their continued support in helping us bring you all of your New Mexico high school sports coverage.
All right, it's time for tonight's top 5 list. Haley, I'm going to put you on the spot. Top 5 memories when you look back at your time at St. Pius. So let's start with number 5.
Does it have to be in order?
Whatever.
Okay. Definitely one of the top 5 was that first state championship when I was a sophomore, only just because it was so unexpected, and the feeling is just one that I'll never forget.
All right, number 4?
Number 4, I'd have to say the javelin state championship final from this year. I went in, I made finals by 3 inches, and I was having horrible throws, and progressively the last 3 throws I just started really getting in the zone and fired up with all my coaches and kind of just having fun with it, and I ended up winning, so that was awesome.
Number 3?
Number 3, I'd probably have to put in the state championship 100 hurdles from this year and the fall, just because I'll remember that one forever, for sure.
And 2?
2, I think I'd have to say winning the 2016 state volleyball championships with the team and with Jeannie and Coach Jordan.
And number 1?
Number 1, I think it'd have to be running the 4x4 relay this past year. It was with some of the girls that we've been running the same relay probably for the last 2 years together. And even though we didn't win, I think we got 4th. It was just the last race running at UNM, and the last time running with some of my teammates that we'd been running together since we were freshmen. So it was one of the most special races, and we all gave it our best and got a PR for our team.
And we understand that appearing on the show was just outside the top 5. It made number 6. But it's a top 5 list. We can't say 6 things. All right, let's go forward to Penn. Obviously, that's pretty special Ivy League school. Talk about the academic requirements to get into Penn.
The academic requirements are obviously very hard to achieve. Without athletics, I don't know how well I would have done on the application, because being an athlete, they really try to help you get into the school. But nonetheless, it was awesome to be kind of chosen for a school like that when you've always been recognized for athletics, to also be recognized that you're a great student too.
Campus visit wise, did you get a chance to visit yet?
Yeah, I visited.
Talk about how amazing those campuses look.
Oh, it's like something out of a movie. It's definitely one of those schools that you would picture having a college experience at. The campus visit was amazing. I loved all the girls, and especially the sprints coach, Coach Dobson. She's a wonderful lady, and it was just, when I visited and I sat in at one of their practices, it felt like I was home, and it felt like it was somewhere that I would enjoy being for the next 4 years.
Now, when the process first started and you started making a short list, who else was on that list of maybe campuses that you either visited or that you were thinking about?
Definitely UNM, Princeton, San Diego State, Nevada, New Mexico State, a lot of local schools. I never really thought that I'd be going farther than like California or Texas or Arizona, but kind of after that visit, I loved the school so much, and I just really thought I'd kick myself later in life if I didn't take this opportunity to go out there.
How aggressive was UNM in their recruitment of you?
They really wanted me to go to school there, and they were my number 2 choice. I loved it being close to home, and obviously their program is really successful. And their coach Z, their multis coach, is such an amazing coach, and he knows a lot about all the multis. So it was really hard to turn down their offer.
So when you made that final decision to go to Penn, first of all, who was in that inner circle with you? Kind of take us through the process, and when were you all in?
Definitely my parents and my oldest brother, who went to Brown. He was really pushing for me to go to the Ivy League just because he thrived there, so he figured I would too.
And as we look ahead to Penn, obviously, what events do you hope to be participating in at the Penn Relays?
Oh, I'm not sure yet.
How does all that work?
Hopefully I'll be on a relay team for them. I think that'd be super exciting, because that's where a lot of the excitement is at that meet. But I also think I'll be probably doing the heptathlon in college, maybe doing some meets where I throw the javelin or just run the hurdles, but we'll have to see how it all pans out.
So what happens from now to when you leave?
So right now I'm taking a little break from track and just letting my body recover and chill before the intense workouts that we're going to start there. I'll probably start lifting with my dad in a few weeks, but that's pretty much it.
And then when will you leave to Penn?
I'll be leaving around August 20th.
Now, obviously, for the family, having a brother that went to Brown, this is old hat, right? So, is there a little family pressure always to, to succeed here, having your brother gone to Brown and with everything you've already accomplished at St. Pius? What's the mindset there heading into your freshman year?
Yeah, I definitely think that just amongst me and my brothers, there's always going to be a competition. And we're always kind of trying to outdo each other and stuff, but it's always friendly, and we are so supportive of each other that even though there's pressure to be the best, we all love each other so much that it's just good sibling rivalry.
So when you guys have family reunions, just if you run relays in the backyard, or I mean, what goes on there?
No, not too much. I mean, we might get a competitive game of cornhole, but that's pretty much it.
Now, you did do some stuff after Pius, right? You ran in the Great Southwest and all that. Talk about that.
Yeah, so
that's pretty competitive, right?
Yeah, it's a great meet, especially for New Mexico. I went into it, I'd kind of taken a little break before that, and I was coming off of a back injury. And the night before, actually, I just decided to do it because I wanted to just do it for fun. I mean, I'd done it the past 4 years, so I didn't want to back out my last year.
So let me get this right. You have a back injury, and the night before, I guess I'll go compete in the Great Southwest.
Yeah, definitely. I do not recommend that to anyone that's going to run in the Great Southwest. Train as hard as you can, because the people that come in from out of state are crazy athletic.
One of the things that always strikes me when we film a couple of these episodes a day is the way athletes interact from different schools. So it seems to be a real community of athletes, right? So who are some of the real special friends that you've made in athletics your time at St. Pius? It doesn't have to be from St. Pius, just in general in the city.
Pius. Yeah. I definitely think that, of course, our St. Pius community is just so close that I'm pretty much friends with everyone on the track team. But I made a lot of connections with like Lexi Keller from La Cueva and Izzy Swanson from La Cueva. Lexi would invite me to come practice high jumping with them for the HEP, which means a lot because I'm not good at high jump at all. And she would volunteer her time to that. And then having Izzy that would want to come practice the hurdles with me. Honestly, I could probably name someone from every school that has just reached out to me and been super kind on the track. And it's just awesome because I think track and field is so special because it really does encourage interactions like that because it's an individual sport, so you make friends a lot more.
And obviously they're going to get to watch your future as we are, so that's going to be pretty exciting. From a press release at St. Pius to the Ivy League, we're all going to be watching Haley Rizek very closely. Thank you so much
Thank you
for coming in. Thanks for watching Local Focus. Good night, everyone.